All right. Good.
Okay. Oh, there we are down at the bottom, right?
Perfect. Perfect. All right. So, okay, we still have a few more coming in. Just make sure that you get your name, where you're from, and what your student's major or program area of interest is. This will help our panelists as they are going through things to be able to focus their discussion on things that would be important for you, topics that would be very important for you. So looks like we still have a couple of more coming in. So thank you all for muting yourself as you come in. I know that helps make sure there's not feedback and everybody is able to hear. You may have seen popped up, we are going to record this event because we've had some families tell us that they may not be able to be here. So we want to be able to make that available for them at a later time. All right. Well, with that being said, hello. My name is Leslie Welch, and I am the Regional Recruitment Coordinator at Oklahoma City University, and I work primarily with students from Texas. I'm going to be your host for tonight's event, and on behalf of the undergraduate admissions staff, we want to say welcome and thank you for joining us for our parent-to-parent event tonight. Personally, having two students that just recently graduated from college, I recognize how busy and stressful of a time this is for you all. And so I just want to say thank you for taking time to spend with us tonight. And I'm excited for our panelists to be able to share their stories and us to be able to kind of work through and get you some questions answered. We've designed this evening as an informal time for you to be able to share and hear from current parents about what it's like to have a student at OCU, and also to allow you to begin to build your network within the OCU community. So I'm going to allow our panelists to share their OCU story, and then we're going to follow up with a brief time of question and answer for any questions that maybe you have that we didn't ask tonight. So we will do our best to help you through this process. I do have a person with me tonight that has helped make this event possible, and that's Courtney. She works with our event coordinator and our Gold Stars, and she's amazing, and we're very thankful to have her here with us tonight. So, and then for our panelists, we have Amy and JJ Tarno. Their son is a computer science major. And then we have March Barrymore, whose son is a theater major. And then we also have John and Julie Landolfo. Their daughter is in the School of Theater. We have Mike and Megan Cook, who have their son is a business student, and then Nicole and Kelly Alberta are from dance. And so we are excited to have each and one of you here tonight, and thankful for you being here and being a part of our team. So with that being said, I would like for you all to briefly kind of introduce you. I've given names, but I want you to tell us kind of where you're from and how you learned about OCU and came to select OCU as your school of choice. And we're going to start with Nicole and Kelly. I don't know which one of you wants to be the spokesperson, but take it away.
Go ahead, Nicole.
We found out about OCU from our studio owner and our drill team director. We hadn't heard about it until they told us about it.
Great. Now, is it my understanding your daughter's a senior? Is that right?
She'll be graduating in May.
All right. Congratulations. Very fun. So, and then where are you all located?
We are in Austin, Texas.
Okay. All right. Let's go with Mike and Megan.
Hello, good evening. We are located in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma.
Our son is a freshman, and we found OCU. He wrestles, so he had been visiting some recruiting trips, and a coach contacted. So after being local, we had heard of it. After his visit, did of course more extensive research, and that's how we found OCU.
I love it. John and Julie.
Hi, we're John and Julie Landolfo. We are from North Texas, and our daughter Anna is a BFA acting freshman this year with an on-camera track. And small world, we actually used to live in Broken Arrow. So, but we heard about OCU basically through other theater moms when she was in high school, and then met Leslie at one of her performances. And just through researching online different schools that are great for acting majors.
Awesome. Great. March.
Hi, my name is March Baremore. I'm in Dallas, Texas. My son Jude is a freshman BFA acting major as well. We found out about OCU, even though we live in Texas, we actually were hearing about it in New York. My son's been a professional working actor since he was 5. So his representation in New York was all for him pursuing college, and OCU had a really strong acting program where he could still sing and dance. And they were willing to work with his crazy schedule sometimes. So that's how we found out about OCU. And then we met Leslie at a college fair.
Exciting. I love it. And then JJ and Amy.
Yes, hello. We're JJ and Amy Tarno. We're also from Texas. We're from a little town called Forney. We're a little suburb outside of Dallas. And our son Lucas is a freshman for computer science. And we heard about it good old-fashioned way. His girlfriend was a student at Oklahoma City University. And so, of course, he was interested in attending. And we went and did a visit and fell in love with the campus. And so that's our story of how we found out about Oklahoma City University.
I love it. That's great. All right. Okay. So FAFSA. I know it's a bad word this year. Okay. I know it has been a real struggle of a process and very slow this year. And so as families are beginning to look at things financially and get their financial aid packets here in the next couple of weeks, did any of you all complete a financial aid interview prior to coming to OCU? And if so, what did you find helpful about this experience? Okay, I saw Julie raise her hand, so I'm going to have you all start. Take that away.
Okay, so we met with Leslie at a Starbucks one afternoon, and she brought a worksheet for us and literally went through line by line all the fees, tuition, room and board, scholarships, basically laid every detail out of what we can expect to pay for Anna's tuition. And I'm not kidding when I tell you, it's pretty spot on with the billing that we get. We know exactly how much we were going to pay out of pocket or how much we were going to take out in loans. She helped us get, in research, getting additional funds and requesting, helping Anna through that financial aid process and seeing if she couldn't get more scholarships and how that whole process worked out. But without that financial aid interview, I think her decision would have been really difficult. And that financial aid interview, I think, kind of put OCU over the top for her. It was one of the reasons why she chose it. So her main priority was programs. Second priority for us was cost and tuition, and OCU met both of those. So thank you, Leslie, for doing that with us.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Anybody else? March, did you say that you all? Yes. Anything you want to add to that?
Our situation was very similar. However, we met with you via Zoom, and we met with you when we were down to our final two, and we were really looking at both schools. And so I found it very helpful. Just like John and Julie said, we went line by line. You also helped us find some additional scholarships and kind of guided us in how to navigate that. So I found it incredibly helpful.
Good. Now, anybody else have experience with financial aid? Megan, you want to talk to that?
We did. I'm kind of jealous of the Starbucks meeting, but we did attend a FAFSA informational session at STARS 101, which was great. I'm an accountant, so I had brought my spreadsheet and we compared and we like aligned. And I wanted to know exactly what was funding. We were down to really making that final decision, school, but college is expensive and it's a big decision. And so that really helped putting the numbers to paper, going over that with our student. It was a great experience. So
Good.
We also did STARS 101 as well. And when they brought us back to the financial aid office with the printouts, they went line by line with us as well. We knew exactly what to expect, exactly what we're going to pay. And it has been, like they said, spot on. Like, I have a spreadsheet and we know exactly what's expected and what we're going to pay. And there's not any surprises. And we absolutely love that for budgeting purposes.
Good. Good.
Can I just mention one more thing? I think what
Yes.
was really helpful too,
Yes.
Leslie asked that Anna be there to participate in the conversation. And we made, throughout the entire application process and decision-making process, we involved her in the financial aspect. Some people don't choose to do that. We chose to do that because we wanted her to be familiar with how we made this decision, participate in the decision, understand what the expectations were with regards to budget and all of that. And so I don't know how much she comprehended. She never had a job, so she doesn't really, the whole money thing is new to her. But I think that really kind of helped her feel involved in the process. And you spoke directly to her a lot of the times, even though mom and dad are paying for it, but you spoke to her. And I think that helped her instill trust in the process and in you and in OCU, that you took an interest in her knowledge about the situation and financials and all that. So
good. I'm glad that was a positive experience. I did see a question that said, how do we sign up for this? As the financial aid packets start coming out in the next couple of few weeks, okay, I want to encourage you to reach out to your admissions counselor, okay, to set up a time to walk through all of this. We are here to help you through that, and can help you look at those next steps and what needs to be done. So I just want to give you that word of encouragement to reach out to your admissions counselor and say, hey, I want a financial aid interview, because it really will help you get some answers. And then if we need to look for additional resources, what's available and how to go about finding that, we can do that. So with that being said, just kind of a quick update about FAFSA information. FAFSAs have just started being released to the universities. And so the information is just now coming in. Our office is hoping that we can, I heard from financial aid today, they're hoping that within the next 10 to 15 days, we can start getting the bulk of those processed and start getting financial packages out to you all. So please know that it's coming. Please know that we do recognize the delay and everything, and we're working with that. Okay. So next question up for you all. How has campus life and/or residence life experience been for your students? Okay. Mike and Megan, let's start with you.
I think it has been, and I'll let Mike talk a little bit, but overall, the best thing that's come out of residential life is the friendships. He went in blind for roommates, so did not know. They didn't even speak before moving. And they have become two very close friends. They come here, it's been a really good experience.
This is
Buy a really good mattress topper for them.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is it's a little nerve wracking, especially move-in day. Can be a little overwhelming. There's a lot of people there. But ultimately he settled in really well. He really enjoys his suite mates. And they've formed some really good friendships all across the floor they're on. So
Great. Amy and JJ.
Yes, Lucas is in Banning and he's had a great experience. His roommates, so we're from Texas. His roommates up from, I believe it's North Carolina. So move-in day, we got to meet the parents and he's adjusted really well. We haven't had any issues whatsoever. Funny story, for some reason, they have a group meet chat. Somehow I got added to it. I don't know how. And so I'm on all the little group me messages. So that's been interesting and fun. So I know when room checks are, and I know all of the fun stuff. So, but we've had no issues. The other night with the storm coming, they sent out a thing telling them, if there's any issues, everyone can go to the basement. So we feel like he's safe and he hasn't had any issues whatsoever.
Great. Awesome. Let's see. Nicole and Kelly.
Chris on board.
We started this journey during COVID. So every year has been a step up from that. It was just odd to start with a COVID test and not really having a normal move-in. And we have compared it to our first child that went through college. So y'all are going to experience a very different move-in from that. So it's going to be great. And the way they move in with all the stars helping to move your stuff in and get you set up, it's going to be a positive experience from 2020. Trust me.
Yeah, I was impressed by the amount of help that was available. So that at least that was very good at the time, for sure.
That's great. That's great. Let's see. How about Julie and John?
So this is actually my favorite part to talk about because honestly, we've never seen our daughter happier than she is right now. She can get up on stage in front of hundreds of people, no problem. But in a social situation or asking for directions, she's a little shy. So one of our concerns was making sure that she's reaching out to people and she's making an effort. And during Stars 101, they are put into groups. They don't get to pick their groups. And she was against that, but she found her two very best friends in the world now in those groups. So she's developed best friends. They have a really great group of good kids. She's in Walker Hall and she likes it. And the way that the room is laid out, it's relatively small, but privacy. I think she said, I don't want to wake up and stare at another person. And the way that room is laid out, you kind of have your own little mini room inside the room. So she was really happy with how Walker was. And she actually met her roommate through, was it the OCU website?
The when you sign up for, I think it was through Instagram, actually, the Instagram page.
Yeah, so she met her roommate prior and they kind of talked for a month or so, I guess. So they got to know each other. So when they moved in, they kind of felt each other out. It was a good fit. So when they moved in, it was kind of seamless as far as not brand new people. But yeah, she was home on spring break and actually said she missed school.
They do.
Yeah. Yeah. She felt guilty, didn't want to admit it, but she said, I miss school. And I was like, that's okay. It's great. It's great to hear.
We want that.
I would hate to have it the other way where we have to force you back. So I can't say enough of how positive the campus life experience has been for her.
That's awesome. March, I see you shaking your head in agreement. What do you want to add?
Well, my son Jude is very good friends with their daughter Anna, so we had the same thing over spring break where he was ready to go back. I was really impressed with Stars 101 that they're not the events aren't optional, because my son, a lot like Anna, would not have gone. You know, he's great in big social situations, but he's kind of on the shy side. So having all of those required events forced him to get out there. He also lives in Walker, but he does presidential leadership class. So they live in a living, learning community. So his roommates were kind of picked out for him. But just he really quickly, on the first non-scheduled day, I think he was a little nervous about making friends outside of those groups, but they have such a strong friend group, to the point that we were talking before this started. My son doesn't drive, and Anna gave him a ride home for spring break. So he has made a really great group of good friends, and they all support each other, which, coming from a performing arts high school, it wasn't always that way. I've been so impressed how they all support each other. And I was in town for the last show my son was in, and some of the kids had done an off-campus show. And so we decided to go, and half the freshman class was there. Anna was there as well, you know, supporting their friends. So it's been an amazing environment.
Awesome. Now I'm gonna, Nicole and Kelly, I want you guys to kind of touch base. I think you were the ones who mentioned move-in. Is that right? Okay. So what is something that you wished you would have known for move-in day that you weren't aware of before everything happened?
Well, I think that it's good to know that there is a lot of help available. What we did do that was suggested is we did try to, I mean, I think there was a numbering system, like do this for this, we want this in this location. And I guess I'm a rule follower, so I followed the rules, and everyone there was very impressed that, you know, all of our stuff was labeled of where it needed to go. So when you're having, you know, 6 people help you take things up to their room, it's great to have that organization beforehand and not afterwards. So pack well.
I love it. I love it. Good. What about Mike and Megan? Anything you want to add as far as you wish you would have known about move-in day or anything like that?
There was a lot of help if you needed it. A lot of people. So prepare yourself for that. But other than that, it was a very smooth experience. I wish I'm a rule follower and a little OCD. My son is not, so pack well was not, did not happen. And so, but it's a special time, and just enjoy it. So.
Good. John and Julie, you want to add anything to that?
The help was excellent, better than expected. I brought a big dolly. Somebody who'd go unnamed thought that we should bring 2 carloads worth of things to squeeze into the walker room, and we didn't necessarily
I had help
get to
our daughter.
fit everything. And for Walker Hall, you get there, you're gonna line up in a queue, and it'll take a little bit to get up, but it's amazing how quickly it actually did go through. So when you see 50 cars in front of you, don't get too frustrated, because it does move relatively smoothly. And then just be prepared when you pull up, they're going to just start taking stuff. So yes, absolutely put an address, a name, a room number, because it'll be before I got out of my truck and got to the back, they already had the tailgate down and it half unloaded. So
I don't think I lifted a finger.
Yeah.
And I'm very OCD too. So I'm all like, where does it go? How do you know where it's, seamless. And I will tell you, the rooms are really small. So I wish we had known not to pack so much and not to let Anna take every item in her wardrobe. There was no room to maneuver. We had to send him out for lunch and then, reconvene later, because there was just no room for the 3 of us in there. So
awesome. Good. Amy and JJ, how about you all?
Dress comfortable, because August in Oklahoma City is hot. So it was really hot that day. And I know you want to dress nice and look good for pictures, but dress comfortable, especially if you're going up 3 flights of stairs. but everything was laid out. When they pointed, you're going to park over here. It was just amazing. If you had any questions, there was always someone there to point you in the right direction, where the rooms were, how to get in. It was nice.
Yep, very easy, but yes, very hot.
Okay. March, anything you want to add?
It went really quickly. I will say that there are only 2 elevators in Walker, so maybe having smaller loads to be able to go up the stairs gets things done faster, but they did have big laundry carts that they could fill things with. There weren't a lot of those though. So we had packed in smaller things and were able to get things up with, I think, 5 or 6 people's help, and it went really quickly.
Good. Good.
Can I add one last thing? I know my
Yeah.
husband's dying. One of the things that I had read, not necessarily through OCU or any web, Facebook parents group or anything, was try to unpack things from boxes. Like, don't bring boxed items, whether it be soap or anyway, unpack things from boxes before you get there. And I realized that was actually good advice because the dumpsters were overflowing, and then the floors, like in their community room or whatever, there was just trash everywhere. And that's a bad thing, but it was just a sign that I was glad that I unpacked everything from the box that it came in before we packed it to take it up there.
Great
Just let you-
tip. Good. Anybody else have any other tip around move-in and stuff that you want to add? I see you.
What goes in must come out. And so you won't necessarily have those same wonderful people helping you go back home. So keep that in mind. So you're all excited about move-in day, but let's talk about move-out day. So just keep that in mind as you're moving everything in. What goes in.
And there's stores in Oklahoma City, so we realize that now too. We tell Anna, bring something home. You have to bring at least 1 box home with you each time you come of stuff that you don't use.
Exactly. And correct me if I'm wrong, those helpers are there for the first move in. But after that, you get to do it and stuff. So now I did see a question float by, and we're going to get to the questions in the chat, but I did see, have you used the movers in the store, the storage place and stuff no? Okay. So you just take it on home and do that. Okay, good. Any other thoughts?
We have stored
in there, but
with
not
their
this,
group of friends.
not the movers. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good. All right. So next question. How often should a parent expect to hear from their student? Okay. And kind of what's your rule of thumb? I know what it was for our family, but what about yours? So March, let's start with you.
We had best intentions. I told him that we had to have once a week FaceTime. He is so busy and having so much fun. I have to hunt him down to get anything out of him. But that's a good thing. It's heartbreaking for me, but it shows me that he's made such good friends and he's having a really good time and keeping up with his classes and working and all of that. So as much as it breaks my heart, it's better than if he was calling crying every day. So I never hear from him.
There we go. There we go. Amy and JJ, how about you all?
Pretty much the same. So Lucas is very independent. So I had to say, hey, I'd like to hear from you at least once a week. We probably don't hear from him once a week because he is also very busy. And but I agree, it's good for your child to be involved and to let them have that independence and I don't want him to feel bad about not being able to call home. So the expectation is if I call you, it's for a reason and, we need to touch base or you need to pick up so we can talk. But other than that, if we go a couple weeks because I'm busy and he's busy, no harm, just everyone doing what they need to do.
It did start out weekly.
Yeah.
That's
it
cool.
is harder parent, I think, than it is on the student.
Now, everybody wants your tip on how you got onto the group me so that they can know a little bit more. I mean, that's the thing. They're trying to figure out how they can get a part of that. So,
Yeah.
I, Mike and Megan, how about you all?
Cooper talks all the time, so we probably have more frequent, but I'll take like, Instagram post or sharing of a meme as proof of life, texts. He does call. He has a younger brother, and so he does like do a good job of staying in contact with him. He's 11. And then we have seen him a lot through the wrestling season. So, but we've left it on him, which was hard on like, I would love him to call me every day and give me like all of the details, like all of them. But, it's that separation. So leave that on him. Let him contact us. If he calls us, if he texts us, sends me a funny dog Instagram, then we'll take it. So
I love it. Julie, I saw you laughing. What do you all have to say
I
about
love
that?
the proof of life. In fact, after the bad storm the other night, we checked in before the storm hit, and I didn't even check in again until the next morning, and I said, "Are you alive?" Because I mean, it just gets to be too much. Anna is very good at indulging her mother and replying to text messages. He wishes I wouldn't contact her so much, but it's more like, "Morning, my love, I love you," just words of wisdom, or Instagram posts that I think she'd find interesting as an actor. Or it's not chronic. It's not like it was when we first started. But we too try to do FaceTime once a week. Whenever I send her care packages for each holiday, I require that she FaceTime me when she opens it so I can see her reaction to it. But yeah, I mean, I think it's check-in texts here and there. We've gotten a few phone calls where she's just stressed and she needs to just vent, or it was more in the beginning, probably more on me because I needed it more than she did. But as time goes on, we just get comfortable with this, everything that's going on. I do have Find My Phone on my iPhone, so I can at least just check to make sure that she's
Stalker.
on campus.
Pretty much a stalker.
Not true. Like if she goes to a concert, what time is she? I don't know. Just she doesn't know that, so don't release
So don't release that information out. I love it. I love it. Okay, Nicole and Kelly, you have had this experience for a little while. So tell us, obviously we're seeing from the first year it slacks off, but as we go on, what should we expect?
So in the beginning, it was kind of tough because quarantine was hard and the rules were tough. And so there was a lot of phone calls and
there was a lot of talking.
At first because it was hard. Now it's FaceTimes and excitement and different things. I watch her Dot a lot. If you all know what that is like, the Dot moves around campus in Oklahoma City, but I can't say we.
Yeah, I mean, it has changed. I mean, she actually reaches out to us, once a week, every other week, something like that. Depends on the busy season.
Yeah.
I mean, if she's studying and dancing and all that kind of stuff, we don't hear from her much.
If there's a show, we do not hear from her a lot. She is very busy. But your comment, Julie, about are you alive? And then sometimes I get, I'm dead. And so I get it, then I thumbs up back. Okay.
Okay. Oh, that's great.
And like you said, Megan, I guess I'm like, or someone said, would rather her be so busy and happy than hearing from her crying. So
which has happened a couple times
in the beginning because quarantine was hard.
Yes, for everyone, definitely. Okay, so what are some good resources that you all have found helpful throughout the college experience? Okay. So Amy and JJ, I'm going to start with you all.
I mean, we got a lot of information at Stars 101. They're constantly sharing the parent groups. If you follow social media, OCU does a really great job. It's been amazing as a parent seeing them post a lot of pictures, and you see your kid in the picture that you didn't know they went to this event, and you're glad to see them at those events. So definitely attend Stars 101. Follow the social media. They do a really good job communicating on that.
Yeah, and if you can stay for the whole Stars, all the events for Stars 101 to the very end, it's great if you're able to do that.
Good. Kelly and Nicole.
So I, as well, like social media a lot. If you see a little glimmer of them, you're like, oh, there they are having a good time. I also follow OCU Performing Parents. It's not only dance, but it's musical theater.
And that's Facebook.
And it's on Facebook. And even, they will say there's a storm. We're in Texas, so I don't always know if there's a storm. And she's not going to tell me there's a storm, they're closing campus or whatever. So I can say, are you seeking cover or whatever? So that's just a suggestion that I have, and I can keep up on what's going on. Because like you said, they don't always tell you what's happening. So, and the parents that are local are really good about posting things on there about what's happening. And I'm very appreciative of that. And that is OCU Performing Parents, for those of you that may be interested in that on Facebook.
I like that. Mike and Megan, how about you?
Stars 101 was fantastic. It was like a crash course in all of the things. I felt like it was a good amount of information. And then I follow all the socials. That helps me feel plugged in. And it is. It's like if you see them, like, oh, they're doing well. He brushed his hair, like, oh, he needs to shave, like, but a little check in. And so I really enjoyed that and appreciate that.
Good. John and Julie, anything you'd add?
I'm on the Performing Parents, OCU Performing Parents Facebook page. Follow a bunch of the Instagram pages. Anna's not a real look at me, so I don't see a lot of her on those pages, which is fine. That's just her personality. What else? Stars 101 was fantastic. If you can stay through the matriculation convocation, I highly recommend it, because if there's anything that solidifies her decision, your child's decision, and your family's decision, that was the kicker for us. I think when we knew, for sure she was going to be well taken care of, she was going to have the time of her life, and all was going to be good. So, and then Leslie's always a really good resource if I ever have questions. I haven't had any since we started this, but
I do, and I get questions from people who are on into their years at OCU. So I may not have the answers, but I can at least direct you to the people that you need to talk with. March, any other resources that you know of?
Pretty much what everybody else has said. Performing Parents has been a great resource, but I follow all the socials as well, just to see, what's going on, and try to have some idea.
I love it. Are any of you on the Blue Alerts?
yes, highly
Okay.
recommend.
Okay. Yes, you can, as parents, you can get on those Blue Alerts. That'll help notify you also of any storms or closings or anything like that. And will help with that. And yes, I had somebody point out. So Stars 101 is the 1-day pre-orientation where you get to register in classes. And then we have Stars Week, which is what I call our welcome week, which I think some of you have been talking about, to stay through for all of the events, where there will be parent things and student things during that welcome week. And then on Wednesday morning, there is what's called the matriculation convocation. And that is a fabulous place. That's where the official ceremony where your student becomes a college student. And then following that, I think this past year they had like a picnic or barbecue out on the quad and things. So it was a really special time. So I encourage you, if you can stay through and get them moved in, but then stay a couple of more days. That's what I think what everybody's been talking about, being sure to stay through that matriculation convocation. So that's a fun time as well. Now, any last words of advice that you would give to these parents and things? So, Nicole and Kelly, we're going to start with you.
Well, I have been reading some of the comments, and I guess speaking from someone who's graduating soon, daughter did start at Walker, and then she went to Methodist her second year, and they call it meth. And then she's in Cokesbury, which they call Coke. So she went from meth to Coke. And she now they're an apartment, basically style living, but it's still campus housing. And meals, when it comes to busy performance weeks, are typically not, the schedule doesn't really allow for meals at the cafeteria. So there is a lot of home cooking and that type of a thing, which is actually great. She actually contacts us when she's cooking meals, and that's how we FaceTime now most of the time. But you kind of have to plan for that. I think we were planning to do like 14, 21 meals in the beginning. That turned out to be too many for her schedule. So you don't have to do that many. But the whole experience through that, Walker, meth, Coke has been great for us and for her. It's been fairly seamless, except for the COVID period, but we don't talk about that anymore. So I don't think there's any more final words of advice.
No, I'm ready to graduate.
That's right.
Yeah.
A month away.
Month away.
I love that. That is so exciting. Congratulations there. Mike and Megan, how about you all? Any words of advice?
I would just say encourage your kids to get involved. It's a smaller campus and there's a lot of events going on. I know I talked about earlier, going to the different events and plays and stuff like that. He's had a lot of fun going to all of the different things that go on campus. That tight-knit community is very present. So just encourage them to get out of their dorm rooms and go have a good time. There's a lot of things that go on, and I know he's really enjoyed that aspect of it.
And that was probably one of our bigger concerns. He is like quiet, and then a bit of an introvert, and he is really, it's been great. It's nice that they miss it when they're gone. And then do get the 22 or the big meal plan if he's a wrestler, but I mean, I feel, and a teenage boy, I feel like he ate through that and then ate through all of the points, and like, I don't even know how fast, but he does go to meth and cook at a friend's apartment on top of the meal plan. So, but I would just say lean in, and he's our oldest, very worried and very concerned, like checking all the safety maps, all of that. They're going to be good. They're going to be safe, and they'll be happy. So you can do it.
I love that. John and Julie, how about you all?
I think really just let them adult. Let them figure it out. That she is our only child, so this is our first college experience of her leaving home. She was relatively sheltered most of her life. That's on both of us. But when she gets there and she'll call up and she's being challenged academically, she got really, really good grades in high school, but honestly, she coasted. She didn't put a whole lot of work into it, and she found out that, well, that's not how college is. So yeah, she'll call up stressed out, but then she'll figure it out on her own. And then a couple days later, hey, how's it going? Oh, I've figured it out. I'm good to go. I've got a 93 or I've got whatever. So just trust them to adult, let them know that they're kind of on their own. We're always here to support you, but your success or failure is dependent on you. So cut the cord a little bit, maybe not cut it, just trim it a little, and let them kind of go be adults and have a lot of fun, what she's doing.
I want to add two things. One, if you're considering the school for theater or acting, Anna has met several industry
Oh, yeah.
people. She's met the costume designer for Tulsa King. She's met a cameraman from Black Panther and a Thor movie. So if your kid is interested in film and acting for film, Kristen Chenoweth is there all the time. Anyway, they make really good connections. She's received some text messages to be an extra in some outside films, etc. So that has been a blessing for her as far as making those connections. And then the other thing is, if you stay for Stars 101, it's a little harder. You're basically prolonging ripping off the Band-Aid. And I literally cried every day while I was up there because she was too busy to hang out with us. She was too busy to go eat with us. She was too busy to let me back in her room to help her with, decorating. And
she was too busy to let her back in the room.
Busy.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is, I cried when we left her and every day prior to that. And I have not cried since. And it's because I know she's safe, she's thriving, she's happy, she's healthy, she's well taken care of by her cohorts and her friends and her classmates and her professors. And so it has been a tremendous experience, no matter where your child goes, but hopefully it'll be OCU. I can promise you it'll be worth it.
Awesome. March, how about you?
Well, I've kind of called it adulting light, adulting in a supervised environment, where he's not completely on his own, but he does have to adult a bit. But if he stumbles or falls, there's always somebody, whether it be his RA or a teacher or administrator, to help him through. It's if he lived on campus, if he lived in an apartment, their issues arise, So having to, if something happens, call his RA and learning how to do that, which I feel is preparing him for when he's in the real world. So it's kind of like adulting light. There's always help, but he is having to fend on his own. So that would be what I have to add.
Awesome. Amy and JJ, what advice do you have?
I would say the one piece of advice is Lucas is used to working. And so when we got up there during Stars Week, we actually went to a pizza place up there and he, wanted to work. So he got an application and we were very excited. I would say maybe, because it didn't really work out, maybe finding a job on campus or like a campus job or something around there, because that's what he's going to do now. Or, he's been doing some tutoring and stuff. I would think that that's probably a better fit. So maybe finding a job on campus as opposed to around the campus. Anything you want to add?
Someone asked about the campus being safe in the chat, and it's an amazing campus. There's plenty of campus police presence. There's areas where you can go and just hit a little phone button to get help. They do a really good job there.
So maybe with the parking pass, get the one where you can park anywhere. Lucas really likes that. So you can actually park if you're visiting someone in Cokesbury, or if you're going somewhere else, you get the parking pass where you can actually park anywhere. So if you're worried about safety or getting around campus.
Yeah, and the last bit of advice, put Leslie on speed dial. Like, she's amazing.
Yes, Leslie is amazing for sure.
Oh, well, all of our admissions counselors we try really hard. So we have just a few more minutes left, and I know that you've been putting questions in the chat, and I appreciate it. We are going to start working through those. And several of you, my question that I was going to ask you was, did you stay for the matriculation ceremony and the events of Stars Week? And should they do that? And I think I've heard that's a resounding yes, if you can. And if you're not able to, I do want to let you know, typically that the matriculation ceremony is also streamed, so you can see it and be a part of that if you're not able to stay. So it looks like that we had a question. It says, my daughter loves Walker and is in search of a roommate. Do you all suggest finding a roommate before school starts? Anybody want to answer that?
I would say yes. Lucas did the same thing where he got on Instagram and was able to chat with several people before and get to know someone before their roommates. I would say ahead of time is probably, I would think, is best.
Cooper, the opposite, did not, he didn't even room with other wrestlers. He just went into the selection process. He is with a theater and a double bass major. And so at first he was concerned, like, how is this going to, they've been great. And he didn't, which I thought was weird. He didn't even like look for their socials. They didn't talk before. They just showed up on the first day and like, hey, so maybe depending on, it would work both ways. I know he was a little bit nervous, but he didn't know anyone else going and didn't go through the process just because he had committed later. So either way, they'll be fine. Maybe they'll find a new friend that way. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. That is something that I want to let you know through the housing application process. If your student does meet someone, they both have to, for them to be guaranteed to live together, they both have to list each other on the housing application. If they don't, then it's not guaranteed. And I get students, they ask me all the time, so if I don't find someone that I want to live with, what happens? And there's a questionnaire on that housing application that you're going to fill out, and they're going to place you with someone of similar interest. So that's, you've heard a couple of bit of that. You know your student and you all can figure that out. So here's the next question. Is it true that you and your roommate will move in on different days or the same day? Julie.
I have a, well, they move in on the same day. I think some kids can sign up to move in sooner, like you can do, I don't know, what do they call it? Anyway, you can move in a couple days earlier. You have to register for it, I think. I will tell you, stagger the times that your kids move in, because we were about 2 hours behind Madeline, and it's tight in those walker rooms. So they were kind of occupying a little bit of Anna's space when we got there. So they, which we didn't mind. It was just they had to shift everything. And so if you can stagger it by a couple hours, that is a good, I would think, a good bit of advice. I'm glad that we ended up doing that.
Go ahead.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Good points. Did you have something you wanted to say, Nicole?
Go ahead.
Yeah, we moved in on the same day, but at different times. And I agree, it's very tight in there. And that worked out well. And I don't think they had us move in at the same time because of COVID.
COVID changed everything.
Yeah. But I agree, it is very tight. And if you're all in there at the same time, it won't work.
Good. Just so you all are aware, if your student has applied for honors, typically they will move in a day earlier. So if your student is a part of that program, honor students typically come in a day earlier, and then everyone else is on the regular move-in day, but you will kind of stagger out your times. Is there a recommendation of what to pack and what not to pack? Julie packed everything, is what I'm understanding. Is there anything that they do not want to pack or that you just have to have? Who wants to take that? March.
Well, in Stars 101, they went through a list and kind of do's and don'ts. That was very helpful because I felt like we listened to exactly what they told us, and we didn't have any issues. So there's plenty of, we didn't take too much stuff, and it's all worked out. He's had everything that he's needed. So whatever information y'all gave us worked, because that's what we used, and we've had success with it. So
good. March, did you want to add something?
I was going to say the same thing. It was in Stars 101. They told us a lot of times definitely what not to bring, what is not allowed. But then definitely you want to get a mattress topper. We also got like a pillow headboard type thing. And those have been the two things that my son has really benefited the most from.
God. Anybody else have anything that you just, hey, you need to think about this and bring? Okay. There we go. Do people usually ship things to campus? I'm seeing some shaking of heads. Yes.
Yes.
So,
Like for move-in, or I don't know if the question's relative to move-in or just for fun. I ship things out. Hannah hates when she has to go pick it up and lug a big box.
but you do
just my
ship it
rule.
directly to campus, is what I'm hearing you. And that works out well.
We successfully arrive. She has not had any issues. They just notify them via email when they get a package. There is a specific way that you want to label the package, and that's on the website for OCU, I believe. So,
Okay. And then the question is, do they have to take everything out during winter break or spring break or fall break?
No.
No.
All food.
no, but they do have room checks. Like when they check out for winter break, they have to sign up for a checkout date. They have to hand over their key card, and they are warned that we will be doing room checks. The RAs do room checks. So if there's anything that you do not, they can't go in anything. Apparently they can't open any cabinets or drawers or whatever. So don't leave anything out that you don't want someone to find, was what Anna told us. Although I don't know what she would have, she would want them to find, but just word of the wise, if you're trying to sneak in, appliances or whatever, they will snag you for that. But
All right.
Yes.
Any other? Yeah.
Yeah, they have to move out, but they don't have to take all their stuff. So they have to leave, but just, Lucas packed us whatever he wanted to bring home with him, but not everything can stay there that they want to stay there. They don't have to completely move out during the breaks.
Good. So how have your students found the accommodations after move-in, with like air conditioning, upkeep, if there's any issue? How has the housing been?
But so I'm assuming that they stay empty over the summer. And then after move-in, all of a sudden there's hundreds of kids all at once. So I think it shocks the building a little bit. There were some issues with the AC not working. There was some issues with hot water not working within the first couple of weeks, but they were resolved pretty quickly. It wasn't anything too torturous. So, but after I think the first few weeks, I'm not aware of any kind of issues with power outages or cold water, hot plumbing, things like that. So I think once they get into the swing of things, then the building kind of improves a lot.
Anna didn't complain, so we didn't complain. I think all those types of things are always harder on the parents. And honestly, I think to some degree, it's a little bit of a life lesson. Who can't use a cold shower once in a while and, put on a robe or whatever, or, take off a layer. I mean, it's part of adulting. So, obviously their health is a priority, but nothing went awry in that regard as far as I'm concerned. So, and if they have maintenance issues in their rooms, they just put in a maintenance request, and maintenance comes and repairs it, I believe, relatively quickly. So.
Good. March, did you want to add something?
Yes, we were in a very similar situation. I read on one of the online groups that there had been some problems. My son never complained about it. But I think that's something that's really important to remember, is if there's an issue, they need to either report it to their RA or maintenance, because I think one of those issues, I can't remember if it was the water or if it was the air, it was only on like one side of the building. And the kids told their parents, didn't report it. So it took a little bit longer to get fixed. So you need to make sure that you do report if there is anything, so that the right people can fix it.
Good. Good. I love this. I did have a question. As your seniors are getting ready to move into the work field, are they going to do what they thought they would do when they started? And I'm going to let Nicole and Kelly, because you all are really faced with this.
Well, yeah, so she went in as a dance major. She always wanted to do dance performance. And if you're not aware, there's three, what do you call it, sub-majors in dance. So you have the performance, you have pedagogy, which is teaching, and then what's the management? Management, that's what it is. And so she's in dance performance. She still wants to do dance performance. I think she realized it's a very competitive industry. A lot of different schools and people are trying to get the view positions that are coveted. Right now, she is actually in New York doing the Rockettes audition as we speak. She did make the first cut. She messaged us that there's, 3 dancers she knows that didn't make the first cut and 3 other dancers she knows that did make the first cut. So all of the ones that are in dance are really going for dance.
I love that. Now, let me ask you this by raise of hand. Have any of your students or the rest of our first year team, anybody changed their major already? No? Okay.
Lucas didn't, but his girlfriend did. So she went in as a theater major, and then she is now doing music education. So music. So she did after her freshman year.
Okay. Good. Good. All right. Will kids be okay with no cars on campus? March.
I think I said earlier, my son does not drive. He made a good group of friends. So if there's something that he really needs, they kind of go off campus. But he has been fine without a car,
Okay.
without driving at all.
Good.
Yeah, he has Anna.
And we're very appreciative.
I love that. I love that. Good. Let me see. Did I miss any other questions? I'm trying to see. Is the decision day May 1st, or has it been extended due to the late financial aid packets? Yes, it is going to be delayed to June 1st is where we are right now. And then hopefully financial aid packets will be out soon. Good. Any other last questions? I know we're a little bit over time, but I want to give you any other last questions. Do performing arts students have a senior showcase? Yes, I know that theater does a senior showcase, and then several of the others. Tell us about dance.
Well, dance it depends on which track you're in. There is not necessarily a dedicated senior showcase. So if your senior wants to be in a dance performance, they can elect to do so. Is it going to happen during the senior year? Not necessarily. So just make sure you go when you can.
Well, she'll have a senior
Test.
And so she'll do a senior dance. I mean, I think it's a week before graduation. So that's because she is a dance performance.
And her mom's going to that.
And I'm going to that.
So that's her senior showcase.
Yes,
right there.
Right. Exactly.
I
So
love that.
depends on what your track is and what you're doing. So
Good. There was another question. How does, and I can answer this. How does the late deadline limit their dorm selection? It will not limit it. Okay. They are not going to make housing assignments and send those out till like the middle of June. All right. We have plenty of housing. So once you know where you are in the process, then you can work on filling in those applications. Also, if you are going to our STARS 101 orientation day, you actually may meet someone there that you want a room with. And remember, I said you both need to list each other. So that will help you that way too. All right. Okay. Somebody mentioned going over to friends' houses and cooking. I think we said if you're a musical theater major or a theater major or a dance, sometimes during Tech Week, food selection is kind of challenging, is what we heard from you. How can freshmen eat with no kitchen available? March.
The rooms are allowed to have one microwave. So and you can also have a refrigerator, freezer, within certain sizing. So stocking up that way. There are the markets on campus as well. So you can get some things for later. So it really just has been for my son during tech week where it's been, somewhat difficult, but we know those dates, so we're able to plan ahead.
Good. Megan, I think I saw your hand as well.
Okay, and all that to say, as a parent of a son who's bulking and like always watching his macros, like he eats, I don't know how many times a day, it has never been a problem. And sometimes with the wrestling schedule, like they missed mealtime, the refrigerator and the microwave service purpose, and then he made an agreement with a wrestler who has a kitchen on campus that if he cooks in his kitchen, he cooks for him too. And so they've just worked out, but it really hasn't, he has had to plan ahead a little bit, and he'll keep like chicken and rice in his refrigerator. But I was worried, like, are you going to be able to eat? And it has never been an issue.
And it kind of goes back to the adulting comment from earlier, like they have schedules and lives. They're going to have to plan around what's open, when it's open, things like that. It's definitely doable.
Awesome. Julie?
Back to what Mark said about the refrigerator and the microwave, if you rent the fridge and microwave combo from whatever the vendor is that OCU is contracted with, they can each have a fridge and a microwave combo. I think it has something to do with the wattage or whatever. So we ended up doing that, as much as I wanted to purchase one, because Anna would have had to share one potentially with her roommate. And I was kind of like parents who were worried about their kids not having enough to eat. I wanted her to have her own space and not feel awkward going to get something from the fridge on that side, whatever the case may be. So I highly recommend that you investigate renting one of those. I think it was maybe $160 for the year.
Yeah.
And they deliver it to the room by move-in day and they pick it up. So all they have to do is keep it clean. So definitely worth the investment.
Awesome. All right. I'm going to take our last question. In case of a medical emergency, is there a hospital close by or aid on campus? We do have a medical clinic on campus. And then there are medical services available in the area as well. So you definitely can have that. Thank you. You guys have been amazing. It has been awesome. I am so grateful for you being here. Let me just say thank you for joining us. I know that we're a little over time, so I want to make sure everybody's able to get to their next event. We have STARS 101, which is that orientation day coming up. And I know that Courtney put into the chat the dates. We have one Friday, April the 19th. We have an in-person on Monday, June the 3rd, and an in-person on Monday, June the 10th. If none of those days work, you are welcome to also do a virtual date, and those dates are July 9th and 10th. So I encourage you to get registered for those events. It's a great day to meet new people and to meet your academic advisor, get it registered for classes, and talk to financial aid. Okay, so you have that. I know a lot of us are working through those next steps in the admissions process. If you need a financial aid interview, reach out to your admissions counselor. They will help you. If you're not sure of who your admissions counselor is or what your next steps need to be, you can reach out to me. I am so happy. You have my email information from this event. So I'm happy to help you find that person because we want to help you through this process. All right. With that being said, we will remain here for just a couple of minutes should any of you have a specific question that we didn't get answered. Otherwise, thank you for coming and have a great evening. You're dismissed. Good night. Thank you. Thank you. Perfect. I know we have a couple of more people, it looks like, that are still in the room. Does anybody have a specific question that you need to ask or you want to ask before you get out? If you do, you can unmute your mic and talk to us here. All right.